Hi, everyone. I am Lynn, and today this is my first chat that I've done online. So I want to thank everybody who's joining either now or during the replay to see what we talk about. I've been really working hard in 2022 to grow the psychic focus community. And for those of you who maybe have never seen any of my videos or seen my blog, a little bit about myself. I started in 2012 doing readings, both publicly and for people. And I really got into just wanting to find truth. I mean, there's so many things out there that are labeled conspiracy theory and just all these mysteries of the world. And so I created a system in which people can go into my blog and put in a free request. I'll go in and I look at various things to see what I'm able to pick up on from an intuitive perspective. And then I post that information online. And from there, I've grown to a lot of different platforms. So here we are. I'm starting out this YouTube. I've been told for a long time that I need to get here and get on this platform to, try to grow my audience, try to grow my members and get the community together. I absolutely love the community that's grown so far. There's a lot of open-minded, like-minded people out there, and just people that are curious, people that want to find truth. So I'm so appreciative of that community. And while I'm thinking about it, make sure you go in and hit the like button, because that is what helps keep content like this coming. It gets into people's feed and all of that. We are battling a censorship war like never before. And it makes it so hard because I have to, change phrases. I have to change wording because things and algorithms get tagged. So yes, make sure you hit that like button. If you do nothing else, do that. And I will say that in every video just to put that reminder out there, because it really does make a difference. And I see people logging on, and I'm so humbled by all this. I really appreciate it. I thought that, if there's something that you'd like to talk about, by all means, throw it into the chat. I'm kind of monitoring things on the side of my screen here as they pop up. I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about a couple of the most recent blog posts I did that were popular. And one of those was the one that I did about the blue light. That felt to be really, really powerful because we all hear about the light trap when people pass away. And this was a blog post. If you want to go to the blog, psychicfocus.blogspot.com. This was one I had done recently, and someone was basically asking me about the white light and what happens. How do we either avoid getting caught in this 3D trap where we get incarnated here? How do we basically ascend and avoid being caught in this loop? And one day when I was meditating, in a reading I did a long time ago, I got that Buddha was able to basically hum and create this vibration, this vibratory reaction that when he crossed over, he was able to avoid having his memories wiped. So when he would incarnate, he was able to either recall memories easier, he was able to just be at that more elevated state. But it just feels like it was so much more complex than that. And so I was thinking about it, and when I did, it occurred to me that, we all talk about this new earth. We talk about ascension and rising vibrations. So it seemed to me that, there has to be more than just this white light tunnel. We have to have other options out there or some way to avoid it. People don't always want to hang out in spirit, which you can, but occasionally you want to maybe incarnate, but in a different way, a different form, a different reality, all of those kind of things. And so I was thinking about it, and then all of a sudden what I saw was this blue light emerge. It was the most, how would I describe it? It wasn't a dark blue. It wasn't even a baby blue. It was just this most purest form of blue. And that kind of leads me down another path, because I've also seen them when people cross over, they will see colors that we normally don't see with our 3D eye. We will experience things, maybe smell things that you can't in this 3D body. I feel like I'm having one of those moments, even trying to just describe this color of blue I saw with this blue light. But I got that, if your vibration is high enough that you can actually go to this tunnel. And sometimes as a test, you might have to look for it, but nonetheless, it will be there. And when you go through that tunnel, it will allow you the option to incarnate into a different realm or a different, basically a density. And that is where these new earth or these things that we have tuned into and tried to understand, that's where they reside. If you go to the white light, which ironically is what I saw Buddha do, maybe he needed to come back through an incarnation loop here, but he was able to do this humming thing to where he could actually go through that tunnel and not be as impacted by the washing that occurs when people do go through that tunnel and come back. He was able to recall some of those memories. So it was a very interesting reading. I had a lot of good feedback. And again, I thank all of you for all the support that you have given me along this journey. I am so humbled by all of this, and I'm happy that you could join me on my first live stream. In fact, I thought about even making this a regular thing that I do, whether I do it each Wednesday at noon, have it be kind of like a lunch break, coffee break, have time for tea or, whatever beverage of choice that you have. But it gives us time to get together, maybe rehash a couple of the most recent posts I did or some popular posts or topics. And I always welcome, new ideas and new things to discuss. So by all means, hop on over to the blog and put through a request. I'm always queuing up new stuff, and you're welcome to leave comments as well. The other thing I wanted to ask is, does noon work for you guys? I know I'm dealing with time zones everywhere, so I'm trying to work out a good compromise as of a day and time where people like to get together. I thought, hey, maybe people want to sneak out during work and have a little lunchtime chat session here. So that's what we're doing. And I, like I said, talk about some of the recent posts. The other one I did that was really fun was talking about pet reincarnation. And I see we have a great chat going on the right side. So if you see my eyes wandering over there, I'm just trying to tune in from time to time, see what's going on. I would have talked to you and try to pay attention to that too. So pardon me, don't let my eyes wandering throw you off. But I wanted to talk a little about the pet reincarnation, because that was another really interesting one. And I love sharing my story about how we brought our dog into the house and how pets really do find a way back to us. I know all of us out there with pets, you love them. They're part of your family. And when they pass, it's absolutely heartbreaking. So once we have, another pet re-enter in our life, we're always curious, is this a piece of, maybe the one that we love that is no longer with us? So I truly believe I had that experience, as I had shared it on my post on the blog. But real quick, we had a dog show up out of nowhere, and he would come and visit us from time to time. We started feeding him and all of that, but then he disappeared, and he was gone for like a year. Well, out of the random blue, someone had offered us a dog, and the dog had a kind of a sad history, was abused. So we rescued him to give him a forever home rather than just a pit stop. And the more that we got to know him, the more that we thought, well, hey, maybe this is indeed our Foxy that had disappeared, because they had so many of the same mannerisms. And I really loved reading the comments and the stories that were shared about other people who had a phenomenon like that too, where they'd had a pet that they loved, and it might have been 2 or 3 decades later, they reappeared in a different way. And it could be a cat coming back as a dog. It could be a pet that had passed away, and they came back as, maybe they upgraded and they came back as a person or a friend or a child, nephew, niece. The universe works in mysterious ways. We just have to allow it to work. So, such a fun posting. I really enjoyed doing that. And I like changing it up. I know we're really have a lot going on in our world. The beer bug stuff is just putting so much strain and so much stress on all of us. I mean, it's impacting just activities of daily life in general, and depending on where you are in the world, it can be even tougher. I mean, in the States, it's kind of hit and miss. We have areas that are very liberal mindset. We have areas that are more conservative. But nonetheless, it's impacting everybody. And there's other areas in the world that I know are even more challenged by it. And the one question, and I even had that come up in a couple readings as of late, because it's impacting people's lives so much that, they want to know, when is this going to ease up? What do I see happening? And 2022 truly just feels like a roller coaster. I mean, it's a very tumultuous time, and it's a very pivotal time because of midterms. So much of what our world is dealing with, I just see that, with everything being politicalized, is that a word? We're going to have to deal with this. And I do feel that things will ease up during the midpoint of 2022, but I still see it's going to impact lives. Some areas are going to be worse than others. I think that it's going to be more of an issue of, have you had the shot? Have you not? And if you haven't, life might ease up, but you're still going to be harassed. And it's just really sad. So I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, send a lot of love and light out to everyone who's dealing with all this and people who've been impacted. I know I do a lot of blog posts regarding this topic, and I try to change it up so it's not so heavy every day when you go in. But I also know that it's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and I want to address that and address those concerns. And whether it's good news or bad news, it's more important, I think, to be honest, because so many people are feeling like they're being lied to. And, that resonates within people, that they know something feels off when they're being told information that's not completely authentic. And so I do try to keep it real and keep honest discussions out there. I think that's even more important right now. And, just reading through some of the stuff on here, I had someone ask me a question over here, and I have to think about this for a minute. They want to know what reading shocked me the most. And it's kind of a funny story, because when I first started doing the blog, it was very early on. And what I would do is I would just do pretty much like I do today. And I would have people send me random questions, and I would go in and, pull certain questions. And some questions would call to me, and they would get pulled a lot sooner than others. But nonetheless, I always wanted to address all of them in due time, right? So I had a question out there, and someone had asked me about the hollow earth. And I remember thinking, hollow earth, a lot of these concepts were very new to me when I first started. I was pretty green as far as the conspiracy theories, or, conspiracy facts for all that matter. When I started getting into this, I loved it. I loved all the alternative ideas and mind expanding thoughts, but I was really like, hollow earth. And then I thought, how in the world do I do a reading on the hollow earth? Because, my programming from school, that wasn't something that was even in my realm. I had never considered it. It was just kind of like, I don't know how I think about that. But when I started to approach it, I remember asking my husband, I'm like, I don't know how to do some of these readings, because one, I some of them are so new, I don't even really know what they are, but two, I don't know how I really, what do I feel about that? Do I even believe in it? And he gave me some good advice. He goes, it's not really what you think or what you feel. That's not what you're here to do. You're here to just think about it and report what you get. It's all about focusing in on a topic and responding with what you get. And that's so true, because the further I got into this and talking to mentors that and I'd had a couple really great ones, it's like, you know what? Your opinion doesn't matter. Your feelings ultimately don't matter, because that's just your ego talking. If you're allowing your ego to take over, then you can't be of service to someone else because you're too worried about what other people think, if you're right or you're wrong. And I'm like, you know what? That is so true. So I really started to just approach every reading, every scenario, regardless of what my thoughts were, what my programming from school is, my indoctrination. I went through 16 years of that. That stuff doesn't matter. You have to take your ego and you have to set it aside in order to be able to do a reading. So what I did was I just started to report what I got. And then oddly, I got clear images. I could clearly see where there are inhabitants inside our Earth. I don't know if it's exactly geometrically hollow, but I could see beings inside the Earth. I remember they looked like insects, but it's kind of like an insectoid kind of a deal. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And sometimes after my readings, I'm so amazed by the information I get and the things that come forward that it sparks me wanting to go and do research after the fact, just to either confirm what I have, make sense of it. Maybe I've been led a breadcrumb of a path that I'm supposed to explore. So yeah, I do get very, very, I guess, surprised by some of the results that I get and some of the findings I get. But that's what's so great about this blog, is the ability to learn from one another. I have so much gratitude for all the stuff that I have been able to learn just by, it's people leaving comments, it's people sharing their stories or sharing information or sharing the different, links that are out there before they get pulled down. I mean, all of those things are just so awesome. And that's why I really like being a part of this community, and I want to see it grow, because there's a lot of people out there that really don't have people to talk about with alternative ideas. You know, there are my neighbors that I couldn't go out there and say, hey, did you see that in the sky? That looks really weird. Or, hey, check out these chemtrails. They look at you like, lady, what are you talking about? But you and I both know that all that stuff's going on out there. But if you don't have someone to talk to about it, it's hard to keep that to yourself. Yes, you can do your research and you can read about it and you can create your own theories, but it's wonderful to have other people out there that you can share and collaborate ideas with, because it makes you feel not so alone in this big crazy world that we're living in right now. So yeah, that's definitely some of the benefits that I've really enjoyed of having everybody come together. And I also have a Telegram chat that is totally free. If you have Telegram, you should go in and check it out and maybe join the chat. We always seem to have a great discussion going on, people talking amongst themselves, and also people just observing and gathering information. And that's one of the things that I've noticed too, that being on this path, that things just seem like they open up. There's a lot of synchronicity going on. And, I don't know if you've noticed a phenomenon that you'll read about one thing and the next thing you know, something else piques your interest, and it just goes down one thing to the next thing to the next thing. I have a couple exciting posts coming up that I can't wait to share. One is really unique on Friday. I've been working on it. I'll just give you a sneak peek on the topic. It's called Womb Cave. If you've not looked at it, go check it out. That was a really cool reading I have coming up, and just different things like that. So yeah, this is fun. I enjoy this. Um, Reading through here, yeah, some people that have had boxers and what's this person want to know? Are there any states that are free from chemtrails? I'd like to take a vacation. Yes, wouldn't we all love to take a vacation? I think I have this daydream of creating a Faraday cage to sleep in at night, just to disconnect from all the EMF and all the stuff that's going on and let my body decompress. So I think a lot of us are in need of just a break from all of this. So chemtrails, is there anywhere that we can get a break from this? So it seems like they ease up and then the next thing you know, you'll be bombarded. There was a time frame where I live and I'm in the Midwest, and it was strange because when you walked outside, the sky was actually blue. We are so bombarded with all of these chemtrails and all this stuff that we've become accustomed to having a hazy sky. We've been accustomed to going out and things just seem cloudy or murky. But then when it's blue, you're like, wow, the clouds look puffy. The sky is so blue. And so I don't really see, back to what the question was, an area where it's necessarily free of chemtrails. It can be free for periods of time, but then I see it starting up. And it depends on what agenda is being pushed. If they are trying to say, my words crafty here. If like, for example, when some auditing was going on of some things that happened, I see a lot of chemtrail activity during that because it's almost like a punishment for something they don't want to happen. They want to create either a weather issue or they want to create maybe a sickness. They want to maybe attack immune systems. So I don't unfortunately see an area that's completely free of it, but I see it coming and going. And sometimes when it hits, it will hit hard because they're trying to push through something or create a scenario so more deflection can happen to hide what it is that they're trying to hide here. Yeah, this person says here that they live in the southeastern U.S. and they're all over the place. And a lot of it happens out of different Air Force bases. So, yeah, I completely believe it. I mean, I know, like I said, I'm in the Midwest, and we might go through periods where you might have a few weeks and you're like, wow, maybe they quit. You start getting excited, and then you go out and you're like, dang it, they're back again. You know, what are they up to now? And then what's funny is it's gotten to the point where even my kids, they'll look and be like, Mom, it's probably going to have like some bad weather soon, or something's going to happen, or we're going to have some horrible thunderstorm, or who knows what. It's almost like you can kind of use it as a precursor to predict what's going to happen, to the point where it can almost be like a game when you start to see it. Yeah. Yeah. Some people, it is very beautiful when you see it clear up. Absolutely. Oh, this person, okay, so here's new information, and this, again, exactly what I love. They're saying that there was a recent article where the virus accidentally got into chemtrails. I have not heard anything about that, and I don't know that I see it being transmitted in that form. I think they're all up for testing every form possible. However, that would be a new, and that would be pretty scary if they actually got it to work. I get that it really has to be a physical transmission. That's why I'm very skeptical of them, the way that they do the testing and the scrub brush that they use and where they poke it and how far they have to poke it, because I get that that is a way to transmit it. Also, one thing I've noticed lately, I've really been doing a lot of thinking on this. I've seen some YouTubes as well that kind of confirm my suspicion that if you've ever been given one of the blue, more hospital medical grade masks and you put it on, watch what happens. Your eyes will start getting irritated. You'll start coughing. You'll feel like there's dust in your throat. I get that they're doing stuff to try to infect those who haven't already been infected. So be careful about that. If you think you're going to go somewhere and there's no way you're going to get around wearing a mask, take your own that you know what is in it. Because I also saw some YouTubes where they tested it and they're finding little microorganisms and things like that. And I do think that that's true. I don't think those are falsified. I'm sure everybody, from time to time has like come across a video that they do things to try to make it go viral. But I do see some truth behind that. Absolutely. So be careful about that. I'm not a big fan of having to cover my face, but if there is no way out and there is something you absolutely have to do, be safe, take your own thing, and just tell them, say I'm allergic to this. I can't do it. It's irritating me. Yeah, and this person here, it says because they had to do certain testing for their job, they purchased their own swab to be able to do it. So I just do what you can. I know I feel like we're up against a wall in so many ways, but listen to your truth meter, listen to your intuition, and just do the things that you can do to be safe, because that's kind of where we're at right now. And as you do that and you stand up for yourself, other people will see that and they will feel like they too can stand up for themselves. Yeah, I think that was really smart that, buy your own things to put in your body when you're able to do that. Yeah, some people in here, they say that they feel like we're closer to the truth, which I feel like we are too. But one caution I would really put out there, and this is kind of weighed heavy on my heart, because there's a certain group, a letter of the alphabet, and we know who that is. And I get that it started with good intentions to wake people up and to get people to come together and all of that. But as time progressed, this letter of the alphabet, it got a lot of people rallying behind it. And then gematria got involved with the numbering and all of those kind of things. And I do think there was some truth to that. But as time went on, I think that the group that starts with, I can't even say the letter on here because I know I'm going to get flagged, but the letter of the alphabet got infiltrated, and it ended up being a thing where it consumed people so much, looking for the clues, following rabbits and all of that, that the thing that started out good to wake people up became so absorbing that we put our time into looking for clues and not doing things for ourselves and coming together as people. We started just going on a research rampage, trying to find more and more truth, and it just kept leading us deeper and deeper, following that rabbit. Myself included at times. It was easy. We want hope. We want to know that things are on the horizon and things are changing, but also keep in mind that you can't always look for something external to create that change. We have to create that for ourselves, and we have to come together as people. If we always think that, white knight on a horse is going to come and save us, that's not really where it's at. We have to also put forth our own action. And that's why things like buying your own swabs or resisting, covering your face with something they're forcing you to do rather than your own thing if need be, like all those kind of things. Just whatever you can do, share truth, network with your neighbor, maybe start to become self-reliant, and just really anything that you can do that feels right. That's really what we should be doing. And even though it's good to stay up on information and we all want hope that there is some change out there, but also be prepared to do things for yourself, because if you always put that hope out on something or someone else to come in and save you, that may or may not happen. And even a leader needs followers. So the best leader can come in here, but if people don't rally together to help that person and do the right thing, it would be really hard to enforce change just by one person. And this person wants to know, do I believe in the gematria? And yes and no. So I think it depends on what the scenario is and what the question is, because it's funny. When I took accounting when I was in college, there was always this joke, because you would work on these balance sheets, and you'd have your assets and your liabilities and get your end result. And so the joke would always be, what do you want the result to be? Because you can fudge numbers in either column to end up with the result you want. And sometimes I think that when it comes to the gematria, that we can look and want and wish so hard that you can create the answer, maybe even subconsciously, to get that desired result. So I get that sometimes it is spot on, but sometimes it's almost like people try too hard, and the simplest solution is the solution. So I think the ones that are more straightforward, but when you have to take letter upon letter and add this and break this apart and all of that kind of stuff, that I don't necessarily buy into as much. I feel like that's more the hopium aspect. Things that are very straightforward and you can kind of get a pretty concise answer readily, I believe much more into that. So yeah, it's not really an every time yes and every time no. It just really depends on how it's being approached, what the question is, and how much number juggling has to happen to get that result of what it is that you're trying to find. And this other person is talking about Visara and Nisara, and that is a slippery slope. That goes along with that whole hopium thing. Everybody is looking for this great reset. They want everything to be leveled out. And I think that possibly that could happen. However, it is so dangerous because that's the gateway to socialism. All these people want debt forgiven. They want, all of that to happen. But here's the thing. If you wipe away all that debt and everybody's treated equal, good and bad, maybe you have your house paid off and then someone else doesn't and they see their debt wipe away. And then the person that's worked hard and paid off stuff and retired, they get, on the even playing field, all that. I mean, some parts of it might feel great, but then when you take away all that and reset everybody, you're just creating socialism, or worse yet, communism is what I get. So all these people, it's almost like I hear this phrase, even as I'm talking to you right now, be careful what you wish for, because that may not be what you really want to truly happen. So be mindful. Be mindful what we put out there. I think that people that started the whole idea of the Gesara and Nasara, the Great Reset and all that, they're being fed by a lot of hopium of people who want to have all forgiven, but it just, like I said, be careful what you wish for. I think that it's a lot of hope and it's a lot of a slippery slope. It's almost like they, it's no secret that the powers that were, they want a socialist state, because in that socialist state, you have the poor class, the lower class that are very needed and dependent on government, which creates a loyalty. And then you have the rich, which the powers that were are a part of. So you basically get this huge division of class. And the upper, more rich people, they control everything. It's like the middle class is dissolved. So they want that to happen. And with Nasara and Gesara being the gateway to it, of course, they want people to have the hopium and they want people to push for something, because they don't even realize what they're pushing for. They're pushing for what they think is equal, but in the end, they're just pushing to either drive themselves to the lower class, or hopefully they are able to rise to the upper class, depending on what they do, who they know, what their worth is to those that are up there. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, we talked about gematria, we talked about Gesara, all of those things. So yeah. Well, folks, we are about a half hour into this, and I've had a great time. I've had a great time testing this and seeing what the whole live stream was about. I think I'm going to start doing this as a regular thing. Maybe Wednesdays at noon will be our time, unless I get a lot of feedback. Otherwise, I've really enjoyed all of you, and thank you so much for coming together with me today on my debut of talking live to everybody. It was fun, and I think I am going to close for now. But again, thank you, and thank you for being part of the Psychic Focus chat. And click that thumbs up, guys. Please click the thumbs up. It really, really does help me out. So yeah, I'll give you something to look forward to Wednesdays at noon. So put me on your calendar, set your timers, all that. And I look forward to comments, feedback, blog topics, and come up with your own questions and save them. It's kind of cool to look to the side and see what people are saying, and try to incorporate what's going on and talk about some of the recent stuff. So hopefully you guys had a great time too. So all in all, I am going to sign out for now. Have a good one. Have a great day. And I will see you in a week. Take care. Bye.